Alright, so I've been living in Norway for about 5 weeks now, so it's probably time I get around to making my first video. I'm now up in Marke. My flatmate and I cycled here. It took us about 15 to 20 minutes to get here from where we live, which is pretty crazy. There's nothing quite like that, at least back in Auckland. But yeah, so I want to talk about two main things really. First is my first impressions of, I suppose, the country, so people, language, weather, and that kind of stuff. And I also wanted to talk about the social side of where I'm living at the moment. So with the people here, they're very, very, very friendly, but it seems maybe they're not quite so outwardly friendly as the average Kiwi. But if they find even some minor excuse to talk to you or help you out, they're more than happy to do so. Especially if they think that you're not Norwegian, they're very inclined to help you with whatever you need to help with, or with whatever you need help with. Now, one thing I wanted, like when I was looking at where I wanted to go on an exchange, I wanted to go somewhere where most people spoke English, but that they had their own language that I could try and learn. Because, I mean, like most people from New Zealand, I only really know English. So that was one of the goals I had here. So that being said, a few of my friends, they've asked me what the language barrier is like here, and it's almost non-existent. I mean, I've made friends here that have actually been learning English for about as long as some of my friends back home, which is kind of crazy. I think they start to learn English at around the age of 6 or 7. So people my age have been speaking for about 3/4 of their life. Then at the age of, I think, 11 or 12, they start to learn a third language. So everyone my age here is trilingual compared to all of my friends back home who mostly just speak English. So I think that's something we're missing out on quite a bit back home. I mean, obviously I understand we're 2,500 kilometers away from the nearest country, and they speak English too. So it's not like it causes a problem back home, but I do feel that it's a bit of a missed opportunity. You know, back home when I was telling people I was moving to Norway, you know, some of them almost start to shiver just at the thought of it. And you know, it is cold. I came here in the height of summer, and I would say Trondheim in summer is maybe, the average day is a few degrees colder than the average winter's day in Auckland, and even in summer overnight it will be getting down to 6 or 7 degrees sometime. And from now the days are just getting shorter and shorter and colder and colder. Every day it's getting about 6.5 minutes shorter. So when I arrived in Trondheim, I think the days were like 18 hours long or something, but it's something like 13 or 14 at the moment. And in the middle of December, there will only be 4.5 hours of sunlight, so that's going to be interesting. Another thing that stood out really quickly, I actually noticed this first when I went to Sweden, because I arrived there before I got to Norway. But most of the Nordic countries, so Finland, Sweden, Norway, they have PANT, which translates literally into collateral. But basically, whenever you buy a can or a plastic bottle, it'll say on the bottle, there'll be a little number, a little rectangle, and it'll have a number on it, and that's how much extra you need to pay when you buy the can or bottle. And what you do after you're done with the can, when you go to the supermarket, they've got these big, they're called reverse vending machines, but you put in your bottle or your can, it scans it, and then crushes it up. And then once you're done, you get a little kind of a coupon. So it adds up the punt from all of the cans and bottles, and then if you give that to the checkout assistant when you buy all of your food, groceries, whatever, that amount gets taken off of your bill. So it's essentially just an incentive to help encourage as much recycling as possible. Yeah, but that being said, I'll move on to the social side of things here. So I'm living in a Moholt student booth, and I think there are 1,500 students living there, which is a huge amount. Um, and most of them, but not all of them, are exchange students. So in my flat, we've got a French Canadian who cycled out with me today. We've got a guy from China and a guy from Singapore, so certainly very multicultural. What I was going to say though, it's very social here. There's always something happening, people to do stuff with. And one really unique thing about Trondheim is they have a society called the Studentersamfunnet, which translates literally into the student society. But they've got this beautiful building. It's very distinctive. It's kind of the big round building, and it's over 100 years old. And supposedly nobody knows exactly how many rooms or even floors there are in the building, because every couple of years they'll build a little extension onto it, and more often than not, I think it's not documented quite properly, shall we say. But I went there for the first time last Saturday, and I went there with an Australian friend of mine, and we got up on stage during the karaoke and at least attempted to represent our part of the world. It was very embarrassing, but it was good fun. Yeah, anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I haven't done a video like this before, but I think that's how it usually works. Yeah, cheers.